It is time for another edition of Slice, and as you know, normally we have the people we interview with us here, but we have a very special edition. We are joined by #1 Bucks fan Nick Carter. Nick, thanks for being with us, and tell us a little bit about where you are. It looks pretty intriguing behind you.
Yeah, actually, I am backstage in Vegas, Las Vegas. Today is our first show of our second bout of shows, run of shows in Las Vegas for our residency, and we just got done doing a rehearsal, and yeah, that went a little overtime, and we're getting ready to do our first show tonight, so that's where I'm at right now.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, and tell us a little bit about where this huge fandom of the Bucks comes from you.
Well, the fandom really comes from I guess I kind of, I can understand, what a fanatic is. I mean, thankfully, after so many years, me and the Backstreet Boys, we have a lot of great fans and loyal and dedicated. But when it comes to being a fanatic, I understand what that is, because that's pretty much what I am for the Buccaneers. And it started when I was really about 9-10 years old. I started doing performances at Houlihan Stadium with a dance troupe, Nick and the Angels, which is what it was called. I had my own little group there, and I had like all these little cheerleaders dancing around me. But they really helped me and kind of get used to the whole fact of performing in front of huge audiences. Now we're doing that. We're doing that now, thankfully, after 24 years. But it's I could definitely say the Bucks contributed and helped, and all the fan base helped mold me and turn me into the performer that I am today.
Probably your biggest, most well-known video you guys did. Everybody, you wore a Bucks jersey, had to rep the team. What jersey was that, and what inspired you wearing that in that video?
Well, if I remember correctly, it was the Hardy Nickerson jersey. So people who are really serious Bucks fans know that Hardy was, one of the best linebackers in Tampa. I loved him. He was my favorite player, and so I wore that in the Everybody Backstreet's Back music video that we did. That was pretty much one of our biggest songs and videos of all time, and I just felt it was necessary to. And I remember actually putting that jersey on. That was like hot off the press. They had just turned. They went from the creamsicle right around that time, and converted and turned over to the red and pewter look. So I felt like fresh and clean in that video for sure.
That's awesome. I love that. And then you also got to sing the anthem when Tampa hosted the Super Bowl. What do you remember about that experience?
Well, that experience was actually a little bit bittersweet, because I was friends with a quarterback you might know. His name was Trent Dilfer. Trent was playing in the Super Bowl for an entirely different team in my stadium in Tampa. So it was just crazy, because I remember after we performed the national anthem, went right upstairs and watched him win that Super Bowl. So it was bittersweet, but really wanted him to be on the Bucks. And like, it would have been just the icing on the cake to just have my team there, and I think that's a dream of everybody's team, to be playing and hosting a Super Bowl. So
yeah, and that's so crazy to think how far into your career you already were at 21. I mean, you started with them when you were what, like 12?
Yeah, I met the guys in my group when I was 12 years old, turning 13 years old, and yeah, we pretty much started then, and did a lot of rehearsing and traveling from Tampa back to Orlando, kind of really, creating the group and turning us into who we are today. So, but yeah, that was the age that I met them. So pretty young.
So you know a thing or two about what it takes when you're young, and all of a sudden you're famous and you have money and all of these things come into you. Do you have advice for? I mean, this is about to happen in the NFL draft, and all these players that are about to become Bucks, and all these other NFL players, all of a sudden that they're not 12, obviously, but you seem to be someone that could definitely offer some words of wisdom there.
It is a huge responsibility because you have a lot of pressure on you to maintain, especially probably on the world's biggest stage in the NFL, and to just to deal with that pressure, I think you just gotta put great people around you. Surround yourself with people who can keep you grounded and keep you protected in a lot of ways. There will be a lot of people who come out of the woodwork and want to be your friend, but if they really weren't your family or friends in the first place, or you hadn't had them since you were a child, and and they weren't ever really doing anything good for you, then you kind of got to stay away from them. So, I think it's all about creating a good foundation.
We still have tons we want to ask Nick, including his thoughts on that new NFL team coming to Vegas. And is he going to be switching his fandom? These are important questions we need to ask. Make sure you stay tuned right here on Buccaneers.com for part 2 of Slice.